Now I'd like to welcome Dr. Mark Chansey to discuss the use and abuse of the Bible in public schools. Dr. Mark A. Chansey is a professor of religious studies in Dedman College of Humanities and Sciences at SMU. He teaches courses on biblical studies such as the Introduction to the New Testament and Jesus in the Gospels, as well as an overview of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. His research focuses on the intersection of religious studies, church-state studies, and education. He is particularly known for his work on the constitutional, political, and academic issues raised by Bible courses in public schools. Dr. Chansey.
This one is very relevant to mine, but not actually mine. Mine is the use and abuse of the Bible in public schools. So thank you, Guthrie, for inviting me, Interfaith Alliance for sponsoring this, and all of the other groups that are co-hosting it. It's really exciting to be a part of an event like this with so many people who have participated and contributed in so many ways. That's it. Thank you. I appreciate that. What I'll do is I'll provide a brief overview of how schools are supposed to teach about the Bible, and then some very quick snapshots about some of the ways that they actually do. And so I'll be talking about topics that are also discussed in other sessions and by other presenters, including Ten Commandments. This is a national summit, so in some cases I will provide a national overview, but in a couple of cases I will zero in on particular states. So in an amazing group like this, there are so many organizations and individuals who have worked or are currently working on these specific issues, experts in the room about this. So thank you all, whether expert or just concerned citizen, for the work that you're doing on these issues. Slide 1, do I have the... Yes, here we go. So the starting point for this topic is the 1963 U.S. Supreme Court decision, Abington Township School District v. Shemp. The Shemp decision prohibited ritualized, devotional, school-sponsored, school-led Bible reading. And so by this I mean reading the Bible every day in homeroom, or reading the Bible at opening assembly, or reading the Bible over the intercom, for example. And Shemp rightly identified these activities as government-sponsored religious exercises that violated the First Amendment. But Shemp also explicitly affirmed the academic study of the Bible and other aspects of religion when done for the sake of cultural literacy. The majority opinion was written by Justice Tom C. Clark, who was from Dallas, was an active member of what is now North Park Presbyterian Church, and is buried 7 miles up the road. So in that decision, Clark wrote this: "It might well be said that one's education is not complete without a study of comparative religion or the history of religion, and its relationship to the advancement of society. It certainly may be said that the Bible is worthy of study for its literary and historic qualities. Nothing we have said here in this decision indicates that such study of the Bible or of religion, when presented objectively as part of a secular program of education, may not be affected consistently with the First Amendment." Presented objectively as part of a secular program of education. That is the tricky part, how to do that. And lower courts have offered some guidance on how to meet this benchmark. Some of that guidance is obvious. Teachers can't proselytize. Teachers can't try to convert students to a particular religious perspective. Also, schools are not supposed to present Bible stories as straightforward history or scientific description, particularly stories of supernatural action or divine intervention. broadly speaking, instruction should not promote particular religious perspectives or religion in general or non-religion in general. So you can see that's all a very fine line. Now, the Bible is most likely to show up in social studies, world history courses, U.S. history and government courses, and also in English language arts. And this happens especially at the high school level. Now, I should note that the Bible also appears elsewhere. Music classes, for example. Choral classes sometimes feature songs with biblical lyrics. And I should note that all of these contexts provide opportunities for the type of balanced academic treatment that SHIP prescribes, but all of these contexts also provide ample opportunities for the Bible to be misused to promote particular religious views. One thinks, for example, of Christian nationalist content in the social studies standards in Oklahoma, Texas, and elsewhere. I should also note that the Bible sometimes appears in unexpected places, but maybe nothing should surprise us. A 2009 study by Texas Freedom Network on sex education classes. Sex education classes found religious content in almost 10% of the districts that it studied. One school's handout on how to pick a prospective mate said that the student should ask, "Is Jesus their first love?" And then it identified Bible verses that demonstrated the traits that a potential mate should have. So humility, industriousness. I would not be surprised to find similar content in some sex ed materials today. Now, let's change gears and talk about specific issues. Yes, here we go. So I want to go back to what Steve was talking about, talk about it from a different angle, the campaign to post the Ten Commandments. And I want to note the Texas-specific angle of this campaign, notably that we have a widespread campaign to display not only the Ten Commandments in general, but the specific version that is found on that monument down in Austin. So this is a map of legislation. The 3 states that have passed laws posting the Ten Commandments are in dark red. And then just this year, 14 other states, those that are in light red, debated laws that would post that very same version of the Ten Commandments in public schools. And then the blue states are states that debated bills that would post an unspecified version of the Ten Commandments or some other version. So I just wanted to say this is really a widespread movement, and we will see more of this legislation, I'm quite certain, until this issue is resolved at the top. Next topic, Bible electives. So 4-credit Bible courses are sometimes offered in public schools. This happens in social studies and also in English language arts, typically at high school. There are more Bible electives than one might think, but not nearly as many as their supporters would have you believe. Since 2006, 12 states in red have passed laws encouraging 4-credit Bible electives, and 20 additional states in blue have considered such legislation. Now, the reality is, state law or not, there are probably at least a handful of Bible electives in most states, and sometimes more than a handful. And unfortunately, it is very easy for these courses to go astray. Thanks to Texas Freedom Network, I had the opportunity to study Bible electives in Texas, and we discovered that overwhelmingly they promote particular Protestant Christian perspectives. Next quick snapshot, released time credit courses. Now, release time allows students to leave campus to take off-site religious instruction during the school day. Release time is often controversial, but it's been around for a long time. Release time credit is kind of a renewed push, and that is to give academic credit for religious instruction taken off campus during the school day. So, just to contrast, the Bible electives in the last slide are supposed to be SHIMP compliant, objective as part of a secular program of education. Release time courses are intended to be religious by nature, and schools will give credit for that in some of these states. So that means that, in theory, a course could teach that this group or that group is going straight to hell. And the school district and state would recognize that course and give it credit. So, 8 states have passed laws authorizing release time credit, including Montana just this year. 11 other states have considered release time credit. There's already a bill pre-filed for Alabama next year. Release time credit is, I think, going to be the next big thing. I think that's quite possible. I should note, this map is just the for-credit version of release time. A map that talked about release time in general would be a very different map. All right, any survey of a topic like this has to talk about Oklahoma, right? The recent initiatives in Oklahoma. As has been heard, last year the state superintendent of public instruction directed schools to incorporate the Bible into the curriculum of grades 5 through 12. And he proclaimed that every classroom would have a Bible and that every teacher would teach from that Bible. And then he put out a bid for vendors to provide the Bible and provided specifications so narrow that the only Bible that met the specifications was Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA Bible, endorsed by the current president. So the headline here says, this state requires schools to teach the Bible. Parents and teachers are suing. And yes, they did. Many of the groups here today, right? ACLU, Americans United, Freedom from Religion Foundation, the Oklahoma Appleseed Center for Law and Justice filed a suit challenging this Bible mandate. State courts said, can't use state funds on this. State legislators didn't provide funds for this. Schools pushed back, parents pushed back. And so this was put on hold. The superintendent says, one way or another, we're going to get Bibles in those classrooms, but it hasn't happened the way that he intended. Now, the superintendent did succeed in a related effort in getting social studies standards passed that promote Christian nationalist arguments about the Bible as the foundation of America and that tell Bible stories from a literalistic perspective. But just yesterday, because of a lawsuit by Americans United and the Appleseed Center, Oklahoma Appleseed Center for Law and Justice, all of that was put on hold. So that is a fresh victory for us to celebrate. It happened just yesterday. Thank you to all of those involved in those efforts. Last topic. Texas, my home state. Texas example. In 2024, oh man, there were a lot of sighs from the Texans here. Just in 2024, the education news outlet, the 74, Linda Jacobson, reported that Texas had prepared language arts lessons, K-5, that included biblical and other religious content. And the state insisted these lessons are high quality, inclusive, religiously neutral, but they did not live up to those claims. And they came to be known as Bluebonnet learning. So the way these lessons handle the Bible is very, very problematic, to say the least. There are 11 lessons that focus solely on biblical topics. So they are about Bible stories or topics. For example, there's a lesson on King Solomon. There are 2 lessons on Esther. There are multiple lessons on Jesus and his teachings. And Bluebonnet presents these lessons as if they are straightforward, generally accepted history, which is, of course, a religious claim. So aside from being religiously biased, they also have factual errors in them. They're often very low quality. So there is a lesson on the 23rd Psalm that suggests that King David himself wrote it in King James English. right? And as a biblical studies professor, I knew that not to be the case, right? So there's also a lesson on Esther, which famously never mentions faith. The book of Esther never mentions God. And Bluebonnet writers added material to say that the story is about Esther's great faith in God. Think about this. They took a Bible story and decided they needed to make it more religious, right? So that's in there. There are other lessons that talk about the Bible as they discuss other topics. For example, Bluebonnet found a way to Christianize the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, right? Do you think Goldilocks was thinking about Jesus' teaching, do unto others as you would have done unto me, when she broke into the bear's house and ate their porridge? I don't think so. So we have those lessons on the Bible. Now, these are true stories. About Bluebonnet are true stories. So for the sake of comparison, how many lessons focus on the sacred stories or scripture of other religious traditions? 0. Not a single one. Now, there are about 40 lessons on post-biblical Christianity. No comparable attention to other religions. Judaism gets a little discussion, Islam much less. Sikhism, Hinduism, Buddhism, almost nothing at all. And yet, for all of those problems, Bluebonnet materials in their current form are much, much, much stronger than the original proposed versions were. Thanks to the activism of many of the people and organizations in this room, we were able to get changes made to Bluebonnet that at least made them significantly better. But for that part of the story, we're going to have to turn to our next speaker, Amanda Tyler of the BJC and Christians Against Christian Nationalism. Thank you.